Well, hello, good people. Today, we're going to take a look at the latest Black Forest Labs ControlNets Depth and Canny that were recently released. As always, everything you need will be linked in the description below. So once you get to the Black Forest Labs Hugging Face page, scroll down and you're going to see right here, we have two new ControlNets, Canny and Depth. Simply click on both of them, go to Files, click on the download button here, and you want to download it into your Lora folder, wherever that may be. In my case, I have it in a centralized location under Models Lora. Otherwise, it should be in your main ComfyUI folder, Models Loras. Obviously, you want to do the same for the Depth ControlNet Lora. So click on that, click on Files, and download it. So you'll notice it's only 1.24 gigabytes, way smaller than the full 24 gigabyte one. So on my 8 gigabyte card, I can run these control nets no problem. What you see on the screen is the workflow that I'm going to walk through with you. It's one control net workflow that has both Depth and Canny. And what's cool about this is this node switch is very useful because we can turn parts of the workflow on or off. So if you take a look here, the Depth ControlNet portion is active. I'm going to switch on Canny. Pay attention there. There you go. And then I can turn off Depth or use both of them at the same time. Now, as always, make sure ComfyUI is updated to its latest version. Go into your manager and all you have to do is click on Update All. Now, when you drag and drop the workflow into ComfyUI and you see red nodes, that means that there are some nodes that you're missing. So the easiest way to solve this is go into your manager and click on Install Missing Custom Nodes. And for this particular workflow, two node packages you need are listed here. ComfyUI's ControlNet Auxiliary Preprocessors, click on Install, and RG3's ComfyUI nodes, click on Install. This node package is very useful. There's so many things in it that I use quite often. So here's an open version of the workflow. I will say if you're brand new to ComfyUI, this isn't the video for you. Now still watch it and follow along so that you can understand what's going on. But you should have some basic understanding of basic workflows and how nodes work in ComfyUI. So the way I have this set up is we have a load image node here. This is obviously how we're going to input the reference image to use for ControlNet. And then we have the all-in-one aux preprocessor node here, and we're using depth anything v2, resolution at 1024, and then we have a preview image node, and they're connected like that, and we have image connected to this one here. Now I do have this grouped for a reason, and I'll explain why in a second. First, Canny, same thing. We have the Canny Edge node along with a preview image node so that we can see the preprocessor being developed. And I also have this connected to this image here. Now, as I mentioned, I have these grouped together, and that's for a very specific reason. And the way you can do that is if you just hold down Control and drag across the nodes that you want to group, right click anywhere in the workspace, not over the nodes, and you select Add Group for selected nodes. It's going to create this background here and group the nodes together. Now I do it that way so that we can use this node that is super helpful, and basically this mutes portions of the workflow when you don't want to use it, and I use this for more robust workflows. So it's pretty simple. The way this works is, let's say I don't want to use the Canny portion of the workflow. I just click on this button. You see that it's now grayed out and only the depth workflow is enabled. If I turn off the depth one, you see it's grayed out. I can turn on Canny, and I'll talk more about this later once we go through the rest of the workflow. Now the next node that I want to point out that's a little different is this Any Switch node. I'm going to drag this up here, and you'll notice that I have the preprocessor image input from both control nets connected to here. Let me move this over. I'll just bring this over to show you. This is because in the instruct pix to pix node, we need to connect both of these to this one input. So again, as part of the RG3 node package. Any switch is very useful, and I can plug in both depth and Canny and share this one input. Very useful instead of creating two different workflows for depth and Canny, and then we can use the fast group bypasser or muter, I should say, but it makes it super easy. Now, in terms of the checkpoint loader, I went with the all-in-one checkpoint that includes the text encoders and the VAE. Now, this is personal preference. If you prefer to use the GGUF models because you're low on system RAM or you just want to fit more into your VRAM, you can use the UNet loader so that you can use the GUF models. But just keep in mind, you'll have to load in the dual clip loader for your text encoders and your clip encoder, right? And then you would just connect model to model and clip to clip the same way. As mentioned, this includes the text encoders already. Another RG3 node that I like to use is Power Lora Loader, and you can use this for just general Loras. In this case, we're going to use it to load the ControlNet Loras here. And what's cool about this is that you can toggle on and off the ones that you want to use. So I've got depth enabled here, and then we have our strength here. You can even load in, let's say I wanted to use the Flux Turbo Alpha Lora or whatever the case may be. I can toggle that off and put it on later if I want to use it later. So I really like this node. Very useful. Now for the clip text encoders here, actually this is wrong. We should connect this. Let's grab the clip here and we're going to pop it in the clip right here, and we'll do the same for the negative prompt. Then we have the Flux Guidance node conditioning end connected to this node called Instruct Pix-to-Pix Conditioning. This is a little different from the usual Flux ControlNet workflows that you may have seen. So we basically connect conditioning to positive. We grab the conditioning end from the negative prompt, pop it in here. And then VAE is connected back here on your load checkpoint node, that one there. And as we looked at earlier, the pixels input is connected to the ControlNet image input here. Then we connect this node to the K sampler, positive to positive, negative to negative, latent to latent image, and then model will be connected to the Power Lora loader. And finally, we have the latent input connected to samples in VAE decode. We have another VAE connection that we input once again from the load checkpoint node, and then the image input to save image here. So that's pretty much the breakdown of the workflow. Not too difficult, pretty basic stuff with the addition of the ControlNet section here. Now in terms of settings, what you want to do is load your input image here. It's up to you if you want to use both depth and Canny, but for this example, I just use depth. Under preprocessor, we're using depth anything v2, and you want to change the resolution to 1024. I think by default it's at 512. For the checkpoint, I'm using the all-in-one FP8. Once again, you can use GUF or whatever you choose. Now, in terms of the Flux guidance for any of these new Flux tools, you can use between 10 to 30 to get different results. And I'll show you examples in a minute, but they seem to like higher Flux guidance, okay? Oh, this is curious. That actually shouldn't be there. Let's delete that. Not needed anymore. Now in the Lora loader, you want to make sure this is toggled on for depth. If you're going to use Canny as well, you want to turn that on, but for this example, we'll just use depth, and I'm using a strength of 0.75. And by the way, I did test it using the Turbo Alpha Lora and 8 steps. You may see an error in the backend, but it still generates and it works. So just something to point out. And for the sampler, I'm just using 20 steps. 30 to 40 is probably better. CFG at 1, Euler Beta as my sampler and scheduler. And that's pretty much it. So here's a quick example of using Flux guidance of 10, 20, and 30. Kind of a big jump from 10 to 20. We have different hairstyles. The outfits are pretty much similar, but we do start to get way more detail on 20 and 30. So play around with the settings and see what works for you. Now, one more thing I wanted to point out with this switch. One of the very useful things is you can take several workflows that you have and put them all on one workspace. So So for example, I'm going to switch on this one called Flux Generation, and we're going to turn off the ControlNet workflow. You see it turns off the other stuff too. And now if I just wanted to generate images, do some testing, I can go ahead and do that, and the ControlNet workflow here has been disabled. And the cool thing about this is that, let's say I created an image and I want to now use ControlNet. I can go over here, and let's say I want to use this image as a ControlNet, then I can just drag and drop it into the load image node here, and off I go. So you can imagine you can have standard generation, image to image, in painting, out painting, ControlNet, all on one workspace, and just use the switch to toggle them on and off. And in case you haven't seen the other Flux tool videos on in painting, out painting, and Flux Redux, make sure to check them out right here. Until the next one, I'll see you when I see you.